which I can tell you after seeing it in person and trying it on again for probably the 5th time, I can tell you that it's officially off my list. Hey guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back. Last Sunday, I shared with you a few new pieces that I recently picked up from Hermes, but what I didn't have time to tell you about were all the pieces that did not end up working out for me, some of which were from my own luxury wish list, and then there were a couple of new launches that I hadn't seen before, and I wouldn't say that any of the pieces were ugly per se. Most of them were just not my cup of tea and didn't suit my style, but I have to be honest, there were a couple of launches that were quite underwhelming for the price. So if you want to see my Hermes Anti-Haul of all the pieces that did not come home with me, including a new bag that I have a feeling is going to be extremely popular, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. In case you haven't seen the whole video of all the new pieces that I picked up, I'll make sure to have it linked down below. But if you have, you may remember me talking about when I unboxed my latest sweater that I have some sort of a love affair with sweaters that feature interesting sleeve details. So I ended up pulling out this Hermes sweater, which is an older design that again has a pretty unique sleeve to it. This one has this really cool contrast stitching instead of the nylon paneling. So I very clearly have a type when it comes to Hermes sweaters. And actually let's start by talking about some ready-to-wear pieces, or at least one that I was going back and forth on. I wasn't sure if I should add it to my collection or not. And I even shared a picture with you guys on Instagram asking for your feedback. And the feedback was quite surprising. The majority of the people who voted were quite supportive of this piece. And I really shouldn't say that it was surprising because I have to be honest with you, this is a piece that looked 100 times better in pictures than it actually did in person. Even when I looked at the pictures, I was like, this is a really cool piece and I was contemplating getting it. But then when I looked at it in person, it was a completely different story. And it was a t-shirt from the new Spring Summer 21 line that featured the seasonal print specifically designed for the men's collection called the Dancing Horses, which is a print that's available on sweaters, scarves, sweatshirts, and obviously on t-shirts as well. And I felt that this print was actually quite out of place for Hermes to do. I felt that the overall design was just not really Hermes-like, and it's not really because of the horses. Obviously, we all know at this point that Hermes is really proud of their rich equestrian heritage, but they usually don't make pieces in their men's ready-to-wear line that are so loud and in your face and almost obnoxious. This piece reminded me of something that maybe Ferrari would do. You know how some luxury car companies have their own merch, which I never quite understood, but I guess that's conversation for another day. And you know how they're always in your face, the branding is over the top, it's borderline tacky in some cases, let's just be honest. So this was a piece that I just really wasn't impressed by. I think the print just didn't look great, even though the t-shirt itself was extremely flattering. I am biased towards Hermes t-shirts because I know that they are expensive, but in my personal opinion, they make an incredible investment. If you look at the cost per wear, I've had t-shirts in my collection from Hermes for 5-6 years that I wear on a regular basis, and they look just as good today as they did the day I bought them. But the print just ruined it for me. It was loud, it was in your face, and it just simply wasn't for me. There might be a theme going on in today's video because the next piece also had a lot to do with horses, and it's actually a piece that wasn't available at the time I was at the boutique, but I was contemplating putting in a request for it, but in the end I decided not to. And it is the new Rodeo Touch, which if you asked me a couple of years ago if I would want a Rodeo Touch, I would have immediately asked you how high and what hoops you want me to jump through to get one, because I could never quite understand why Hermes wouldn't combine the two beloved worlds of rodeos and exotic skins until just now. So when I heard them announce that they'll be coming out with a Rodeo Touch, I was over the moon, so excited to be able to get one. And when I actually started seeing pictures of them, I was sort of underwhelmed, and I feel like that feeling has remained, especially because I was talking to one of you guys under a recent video of mine, and we were both saying that rodeos at this point are more about the hunt than the actual pieces themselves. I don't have a crazy rodeo collection. I exclusively collect pieces at this point that are one solid color, and I think I have almost all of them, if not all of the solid colored rodeos at this point, and I simply never reach for them anymore. Even though I remember being so excited and the adrenaline pumping every time I was able to find a rodeo and track one down in a new solid color. I'm not kidding you, I was never as excited to receive a call from Hermes when they called me to let me know that they have the So Black rodeos for me that I had been requesting for years. I don't think I ever had to wait for as long for an Hermes piece as I had to for my Hermes So Black rodeos. I probably waited for about 5 years for them for the pieces to be actually relaunched. So I should be equally excited about the launch of the So Black rodeo with the exotic saddle. Even though the Rodeo Touch comes in a couple of different shades, I would have obviously gone for the So Black version. But to be frank, I was quite underwhelmed by the overall design. I don't know what I was expecting, but I think the Rodeo Touch was just missing that wow factor. I think if you don't own any of the So Black rodeos and this is going to be your first piece, I think it's a great way of adding a So Black rodeo to your collection with that exotic saddle. But I think if you already own So Black pieces, or if you decide to pick up one of the other colorways in the Touch version, if you own similar colorways, I don't think that they're going to add too much of a wow factor to any one of your bags, because the exotic detail is so incredibly small that for me the price is really not justified. This next piece I wasn't quite sure if I should include in this video, because this is not something that I really have anything against. The only reason why I didn't end up adding it to my collection is because I already own it in a version and I didn't feel that I need two of them, which is the Izmir sandals. I was looking at this piece in ostrich, even though I already own them in python, which I picked up that pair in the Hermes sale a couple of years ago. And in case you're not familiar with the Izmir sandals, I have no doubt that you have known of or have seen the orange sandals before, which are basically the women's version of the Izmir sandals. The shapes are slightly different. The Izmir, the one that is made for men, I find to be a little bit more robust, and I feel a little bit more sporty and casual. And then the orange sandals, the one made for women, are definitely a lot more sort of graceful and refined. I think you would struggle to find a pair of slippers that are as sophisticated as the orange sandals. There's just something about the shape and the way they are constructed that are extremely flattering on the feet. So yes, they are a popular piece and a lot of luxury lovers own them. I think they are still very much worth looking into, especially if you can find them in an interesting material or a unique fabric. So I was actually looking at investing in these Izmir sandals in ostrich, and I'm by no means a big ostrich person. I don't think I would really consider investing in a full-on ostrich bag. When it comes to accessories, I do like a little bit of ostrich here and there. So I thought it could be fun to add a pair of Izmir sandals to my collection in ostrich. But rationally speaking, when I really thought about it, the piece that I already own, I rarely ever use, mainly because I'm not the kind of person who would just walk out in a pair of slippers in the city. I'm quite a bit of a germaphobe and it's just not something that I feel good about. And I definitely don't take enough beachy holidays, especially nowadays, for me to get my money's worth out of these pieces. But I still think that this is a piece that is worth looking into. Yes, a lot of people own them, but if you find them in a material or in a leather that is more unique and special, I think you can style them really well, and I don't think they'll feel overdone. And last but not least, we have two bags that I had a chance to see while I was in the boutique. One of them was actually from my 2021 luxury wish list, which I can tell you after seeing it in person and trying it on again for probably the 5th time, I can tell you that it's officially off my list, which is the Evelyn 16, or also known as the TPM size. which I get a lot of questions on asking me if it's been discontinued or if it's still in production. And I can tell you that it is still very much in production. I don't know where the rumor came from that it's been discontinued, but you can still find it. The official name is the Evelyn 16. So if you're struggling to find it even online with the TPM code, just try Evelyn 16 because that is the official name that the Evelyn goes by nowadays. So I had a chance to try this bag on in 2 different versions. I saw it with the regular canvas strap, and then I also had a chance to see it with a more special strap that it comes with, which is the so-called Evelyn 16 Amazon. But I felt that the TPM size was just way too small for me. I don't have a problem with small bags. Clearly, I have done several videos on my obsession with mini and micro bags. But I think it's all about the proportions. If you're going to buy a mini and micro bag, you have to find the one that you feel most comfortable with and that you find suits your proportions and you suit the bag's proportions. So it takes 2 to tango. And I felt that the Evelyn just didn't look really flattering on me. I felt like I looked like a stable boy. But as an everyday casual no-brainer bag, which is exactly what I wanted the Evelyn to be, I wanted it to be a bag that I can just throw on with any outfit and not even have to think about it. I don't think it would have worked for me. It just really didn't suit my style and my frame. It was way too small. But one takeaway that I could give you is that if you're someone who struggles with the original canvas strap that the Evelyn comes with, you might want to give the Evelyn Amazon a try because the strap on those pieces is quite a bit shorter. Not to mention that the Allegro strap is actually something that Hermes sells for nearly $1,000. So you might want to opt for that piece in case you like the look of that strap because you're basically getting a 2-in-1. And I still think that the Evelyn 16 is a great bag for many people. I unfortunately am just not one of those people. And lastly, a brand new launch that I had a chance to see was the 24-24-21 bag, or also known as the Mini 24-24, which is the newest, cutest little baby addition to the 24-24 family, which is a line that I'm really torn on. Some days I love it, some days I hate it. I don't think it's at this point a design that I will ever add to my collection. I have tried it many times and it just never really worked out for me. Even though I love the idea that they updated an original emblematic design of the brand, which is the toolbox, and they combined it with some of the most beloved features of the Kelly bag. At the end of the day, it's just not a bag that I would personally spend my money on. I don't find the shape and the construction to be flattering on most. But I was pretty excited and pretty hopeful that the mini version of it would work out for me. Unfortunately, it didn't. The Mini 24-24 is actually quite a bit smaller than I had envisioned, even though I should have known better because it's only a centimeter larger than the Mini Kelly. And as we discussed this before, the new Mini 24-24 has a slightly different concept to it than its ancestors. On top of it being just a new baby addition to the family, it also comes with a longer strap that should allow you to turn this bag into a multitude of different things. So in theory, you should be able to use it as a backpack, as a belt bag, as a crossbody bag, or completely without the strap, just as a pochette or as a top handle bag. Similar to an Hermes bag that I really heavily criticized in the past, which is the Kelly Dance. I think the Kelly Dance is one of the most awkward bag designs by Hermes. And I still don't think that the 24-24-21 is perfect, but it's a huge step up when we compare the two. But on me personally, it still looked quite awkward. Not only because of the size and the proportions of the bag, but also because the strap is quite thin. Let's just put it out there, this is not a bag that would work on anyone as a belt bag because of the size and the shape of the bag. It's just way too big and way too puffy to look flattering as a belt bag. But I think as a backpack, it could look quite great on people who are more petite and narrow-shouldered, who is definitely not me. And in case you're interested in the price, the Mini 24-24 that I had a chance to see was made of Evercolor and Swift, was just under 6,000 euros. And I believe the price in the US is going to be just about $8,000. So that's what you should expect to pay for these pieces. But this is it, guys. This concludes today's Hermes Anti-Haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And please let me know in the comment section your thoughts on these pieces. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.